Hope y'all like that new sick intro. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Games Cage. Today, and only today, we are here to talk about Metroid, which, you know, is something I feel like I don't get a chance to talk enough about because, I mean, first of all, just to give a bit of my brief history with Metroid, I really like Metroid. Metroid is one of those series from Nintendo that I'm not like diehard for. Like, I know some people like Super Metroid's their favorite thing. The Prime Trilogy is some people's thing. For me, it's like I enjoy the series. I like Super Metroid. I don't really like the original. I like Fusion. I played 1 and 2 of Prime, so my history with Metroid isn't the vastest thing, but it's still a series that I really appreciate and I really like because it's obviously like it's Metroidvania, right? It's one of the most storied kind of genres in gaming, and there's a charm to it and something I really love about it. But today we're here to talk about a bit, not necessarily bad news, but just like the situation with Metroid, right? What's going on with this franchise? What is Nintendo doing? What are the plans for potential Switch games and stuff? And I think we should categorize these in the ideas and aspects that I think are coming through and that I think make a lot of sense for most of us to go through and talk about. So let's start with the big one, alright? Metroid Prime 4. Where is fucking Metroid Prime 4? Well, we do have our answer, right? This game was announced in 2017 to be made by a new studio with some Bandai reps working on it. So it was like a weird collab between Bandai and Nintendo. It kind of disappeared off the face of the earth until 2019 when Nintendo came out in January on a video being like, hey, yo guys, this game is fucked. It's scrap. This thing is so fucked up basically that we legitimately need to go give it to Retro so that they can remake the entire game. And you know what's funny? I feel like people kind of forget that, right? Because a lot of people will always mention Metroid Prime 4, but like that is such a key component to remember that I think in 2019, I really believe when they made that video saying the idea was scrapped and they're giving it to Retro, I really think that was like almost like a week within that decision. Like I really think they were back to square one with that. I don't think they used any assets. I don't think there's shit about it. I really do think they're like, you know what, Retro, these guys, they did not do this justice. There was a lot, bro, you gotta think like how fucked did the game have to be for Nintendo to pull it out from that team and be like, Retro, you're doing this, you know? And I mean, again, there's also the question of, does Retro want to finish their game first and then go on Prime 4? Are they actively doing it? And obviously, it doesn't help when we're consistently seeing job listings like, now they're hiring for a storyboarder or a new director or this and that. It's like, and obviously, again, job listings are nothing new. You can hire someone mid-development. You can have multiple storyboarders. You can have multiple directors. You can have multiple supervisors. It's like that. I don't think that is the biggest deal of the world, but we live in an era now where games take about 3 to 4 years to develop depending on what their scale is, and obviously this game's scale is gonna be pretty big, I have a feeling, right? They're going for something big here. Again, this is Metroid Prime 4, this isn't a reboot, this isn't something new. It's like, it's a continuation of a franchise that people really love and appreciate, and I really think they want to nail it, right? But yeah, in terms of like when the game would actually release, right, it would be within 3 years within the announcement of the reboot of 2019, so we're looking at a game that's potentially coming 2022, 2023, like I think, honestly, my real prediction about Metroid Prime 4 is it's going to be another Breath of the Wild, or right now what we're seeing with Spider-Man Miles Morales, where it'll be cross-gen with whatever Nintendo's doing next. Now, granted, I pray that Nintendo just continues to make Switches. Like, here's a Switch Pro, here's a Switch Pro Elite, here's a Switch God, here's a Switch Jesus. I don't know why they'd call it Switch Jesus, but whatever, they probably would. Here's the new Nintendo Switch. You know, Nintendo would pull this shit. But either way, I really do think it's going to be a game that bridges the gap. I think it needs a bit more power. I think they're gonna go, I have a feeling Retro is going all out on this game, and that's why we really don't hear shit about the game. Obviously, Nintendo in general, very tight-lipped about their stuff until they're about 6 to 8 months within release. You know, usually they'll, here's what the Nintendo does, right? If it's a big game, they'll announce it early on, but they will not dive into info until they are like closer to release within the 6 to 8 month period. Now, granted, Nintendo's kind of shifted that completely now. They announced a game 2 months before they're out, so it's kind of wild and weird. But hey, anything can happen. But either way, yeah, don't expect Metroid Prime 4 anytime soon, sadly, and it is what it is. Now, something we could see sooner than later is a 2D Metroid. Now, the reason I'm really confident about a new 2D Metroid happening is for a few reasons, right? The team that made Samus Returns on 3DS wrapped that game up in 2017 when the game came out, and they have not released anything since, right? So Mercury's team is doing something. You would assume they're making a new 2D Metroid for Switch or something else, but either way, that dev team has got to be working on something, right? And now, another thing that people forget is, if you remember early this year when all the rumors were coming out about Nintendo's plans for the year, right? Here were the rumors, right? It was a new Paper Mario, it was Mario's 35th anniversary stuff, and it was Pikmin 3 Deluxe, and it was a new 2D Metroid, right? So all of those have come true except the 2D Metroid. I really do think the 2D Metroid is something that got shifted. They were like, you know what, obviously well, not shifted on purpose, but because of COVID development time and stuff. So I would guess that 2D Metroid is going to be honestly spring next year or maybe summer, right? I definitely think that's happening. I think it's happening sooner than later. Apparently that game, I didn't play it on 3DS, but apparently it does end on a story cliffhanger that people really love. So I really do think a 2D Metroid is coming sooner than we think. And I think that's a good thing. I really think, again, when you really think about it, like 2D Metroids are extremely beloved. It's not one of those things like where there's a mass divide between the audience. People love 2D Metroid, and obviously I think that could be a really good gem on the Switch. And of course, one of the biggest consistent rumors on Nintendo Switch almost since the launch year of the Switch has been Metroid Prime Trilogy HD, right? Where did this go, right? There was a time where before every Nintendo Direct or every Nintendo thing ever, there was a rumor for Metroid Prime Trilogy HD from every insider, even the most credible ones and stuff like that. And where did this go, right? The most likely response that we have to this question is honestly that they shifted it, right? They were like, you know what? When Metroid Prime 4 got pushed, they were like, let's just ship this, and or maybe they were saving it for an anniversary, right? And that's where we get tied in here, right? Next year is Metroid's 35th anniversary. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, Nintendo's not going to celebrate the anniversary. I agree with you. I don't really think they're going to celebrate the anniversary. I think at most, they might release this Prime Trilogy HD and be like, hey, by the way, shout out to Metroid's 35th anniversary. I don't think they're going to go all out Mario on this where they have this like cool Metroid Direct and they have all these space stuff in it, which would be cool. I'd be down for that. But Nintendo has shown is that they really only give a shit about Mario's anniversary and Zelda's anniversary. Will they sometimes do a thing like the Year of Luigi when they randomly want to? Of course, but I really do think they're not going to celebrate in that way. But again, I really do think next year could actually be really good for Metroid if they have this Prime Trilogy HD that happens and a 2D Metroid. I think that's more than enough. I think that'll be fine. I think that'll be happy. It'll soothe fans over, and if anything, it bring in new fans, right? Like, when was the last time a Metroid game got to have a big spotlight on a platform to sell millions? I mean, you know, the Switch versions of these games are going to sell millions. That's just factual. That's what happens with every Switch. Oh, it's not factual, but it's what happens with every Switch first-party game almost. And I just think that series will grow even more, and you build more brand recognition to Metroid Prime 4, because again, Metroid is a series that doesn't sell that well. People always forget that. It's one of the it's a franchise that is really well known with Nintendo, but it doesn't sell that well. And I think the Switch can obviously fix things. Well, I was gonna say Switch. Fuck. God damn it, bro. I fucked it up. But yeah, I know, again, the joke is really that, like, Metroid fans rarely get to eat anything, basically. But I really do think next year, or in general, the next 2 years are going to be fun. If anything, again, if the Switch ends up having a new 2D Metroid, Metroid Prime 4, Prime Trilogy HD, even maybe Metroid Fusion re-releasing for, like, a Game Boy Virtual Console and stuff like that, I really think the Switch could end up being just the best platform out there for Metroid stuff. So don't lose hope, Metroid fans. You'll have your home someday soon, and hopefully everything will be sorted out with Metroid Prime 4 and everything. And again, Metroid Prime 4, it's such a fascinating game to see, like think about, like, when are we gonna see it? How is it gonna look? Is it gonna be something crazy? Like, I'm so curious to see how grandiose that adventure is gonna be. And I just can't wait, man. It's going to be like, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think. If you're excited for new Metroid stuff, if you think there's even going to be Metroid stuff, maybe all this is fake. Maybe Metroid Prime 4 takes 17 years to be made and we never get anything. All right, let me know what you guys think. Remember to subscribe for more. Follow me on Twitch. Follow me on Twitter. And of course, I'll see you all next time. Peace. I love you.